Why do black people in America don't have a black God? Why do black Christians around the world don't have a black God? Why do people around the world have gods that look like themselves, but yet the black people who were ever enslaved or colonized do not have a black looking God? Now, although you can find some black people have changed the Caesarea Borgia picture into a black version of the Caesarea Borgia, it is still not based on any God that resembles or looks like you. It is a favorite thing that people like to argue about. It is something that many black people utilize in their deconstructing. Why do we have a Caucasian Jesus when he was a Middle Eastern man, if he ever existed, but would have been a Middle Eastern man? Why would the Africans, why would those in the Americas accept Caucasian Jesus? And we can have that argument, we can have that debate. We know the reason why. It was beat into us. It was forced into us. It was forced through colonization. It was forced through slavery. That's the cut and dry, simple answer. But one of the things that always pierces my brain when I look at this meme is that it demonstrates that people, man, has always created God to look like the people who were doing the creation. You see, if you go back before colonization, you go back before the American slavery, and you were able to meet the people of the Dahomey, to meet the people of Wayuda, meet the people of the Ashanti, the Zulu, you meet the people of the Yoruba, the Igbo. Their gods looked like them. Shango looks like a black man. Mama Wata looks like a black woman. Oshun is a black man. The gods of the people of our ancestors always looked like them in the same way that the Hindu gods look like the people of India, that the Asian gods, the Chinese, the Japanese, they all look like them. They look like them. The Vikings and the Germanic people of the Norse mythology, they all look like them. The Native Americans, they all look like them. So they all made gods. People make gods to look like themselves because when they see themselves through their God, and they see their God through themselves. We cannot just start at colonization. We cannot just start at slavery. We cannot just start at Western Christian expansion around the world. If you want to truly understand this, then you have to understand that man will always create God to look like himself. And then when they conquer other people, they will make their God the God of those people. That way, the oppressed people will remain oppressed because when they look to God, they see the people who are oppressing them. Therefore, they cannot go against those people because then they will be going against God. It's a psychological battle. Just as it is psychological for people to make God look like them. And at the end of the day, when you ask why did everybody make gods to look like themselves from every culture around the world throughout time, it is because man creates God, not the other way around. All these gods were created by man. The Buddha, Krishna, the Western Jesus, the Mediterranean Jesus, none of them created any of their people. Their people created them. Who did the Indian people worship before the Indus religion started in and around 1800 BCE? Where the different tribes of people throughout the Indian peninsula had different gods that they had created for themselves until they came up under Hinduism. The Europeans, before they were forced into believing in Jesus, they worshiped different Germanic gods. They worshiped different Italian gods. They worshiped the different Greek gods. They had many different gods before they were forced in 381 by Theodosius to worship Jesus. The people in the Americas worship the sky people who look like them before they were forced to worship the Western Jesus. So people have always made God look like themselves because they created God. And that is the end of the story. That is the simple answer. That is the Occam's razor, the straight line. So when you look at these modern day gods, and even some of the ancient gods from 8,000 BCE till today, we will always find that the people made God look like them. We will always find that these are just creations of man. If there is a real God, a one true God, a creator of the universe, he wouldn't look like, he or she or it wouldn't look like any of these beings. They would just be without corporal form, without a body, the limitations of a body. The body can't see the full spectrum of light. The body can't feel the energy of the universe, not in fullness. We can only feel what this meat suit allows us to feel, see what this meat suit allows us to see. And the beautiful teachings of the Gnostics is that they did believe in the Jesus character, but not the Jesus character as a son of God, but the Jesus character of the Christ mindset, the Christ consciousness, a mindset that says that if you develop through knowledge and learn more and more about how the universe works, basically learning the hermetics, that you will be able to ascend your consciousness out of this form, out of the repetition of coming back to this planet, because they believed in reincarnation. Because in one of the Gospels, of the Nag Hammadi library, I can't remember exactly which one, it talks about how Jesus was saying that John the Baptist was a reincarnation of Elijah. So there is the idea within Gnosticism that you continue to reincarnate until you are able to gain your Christ consciousness. The same thing is taught in Buddhism, that you continue to reincarnate until you gain the Buddha mind, and then you leave this physical form forever. You never reincarnate, and you ascend to more of an astral plane, an energetic plane, where you are not limited by the physicality of the body. That is more reasonable than believing in a Jesus, a Krishna, or any other deity, or Allah, or any other deity that any man has ever created in order to understand the nature and the forces of the universe. And sometimes you just got to practice that. Like today, before I started these videos, I sat out here in the rain, under an umbrella, but out here in the rain, just feeling the moisture, feeling the rain, feeling the air, the wind, feeling nature as deeply as I possibly can, but looking to understand it more on an energetic plane, more, to conceptualize it beyond the senses that we have, to open your mind and your thought to something bigger and larger than what we can perceive and what science tells us, to go beyond the human form. That is the goal. That is the idea. But y'all have a great day. And remember always, you have to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.